Have you ever wondered how a simple pencil can transform a blank canvas into a captivating artwork? It's not magic, but it can certainly feel like it when you see a flat, empty page morph into a lively scene filled with depth, shadows, and textures. That's the power of a pencil, a tool so common, yet so potent in the right hands. The art of drawing in its essence is about seeing, it's about understanding the world around us, breaking it down into basic, manageable elements, and reconstructing it on paper. It's about capturing light and shadows, contours and textures, and expressing emotions and stories through lines and shapes. And at the heart of it all is the humble pencil. From the soft, dark lines of a 6B to the fine, light strokes of a 4H, a pencil offers an artist a world of possibilities. With it, you can sketch the faintest of outlines, build up layers of tones and textures, and create depth and volume that bring your art to life. But before we delve into the details, it's crucial to understand the base elements in drawing. These are the building blocks that every artist, no matter how experienced, uses to create their artwork. Lines, shapes, forms, tones, textures, and spaces. Each of these elements plays a key role in a drawing, and understanding them can help you see the world as an artist does. Drawing is not just about replicating what you see. It's about interpreting it, adding your personal touch, and sharing your unique perspective with the world. And once you understand the base elements and how they work together, you can start to manipulate them to create your art. So are you ready to embark on this exciting journey to unlock the potential of a pencil and discover the magic of drawing? Because, trust me, there's nothing quite as satisfying as seeing your ideas take shape on paper, your stories come to life in lines and shades. Stick around and you too can unlock the magic of the pencil. Before we dive into the details, make sure you're equipped with the right tools. Just like a chef in a kitchen, an artist needs their arsenal of tools to create their masterpiece. Let's start with pencils. From hard graphite pencils perfect for light, precise lines to soft graphite for bold, dark strokes, there's a pencil for every purpose. Next, let's talk erasers. A standard eraser is great for getting rid of large areas of graphite, while a kneaded eraser is a versatile tool for lifting graphite and creating highlights. Finally, the canvas for your creativity, paper. Sketch paper is a great starting point for beginners, while Bristol board provides a smooth surface for detailed work. Watercolor paper, with its rough texture, is ideal for adding depth to your drawings. With the right tools in hand, you're ready to begin your drawing journey. Every drawing begins with a simple line, but not all lines are created equal. So let's talk lines. Lines are the most basic elements in drawing, but their power should not be underestimated. They're the very first strokes we learn to make as children, and they remain an integral part of our artistic expression, no matter how advanced we become. Imagine straight lines first. They're bold, decisive. They create boundaries, define edges, and establish perspective. Straight lines are the backbone of architectural drawings and geometric designs. They offer structure and stability, giving form to our creations. Now let's venture into the world of curved lines. They're softer, more fluid. They add movement and rhythm to our drawings, invoking emotions and directing the viewer's eye through the composition. Think of the graceful curve of a dancer's body, the gentle roll of a hillside, or the whimsical swirl of a galaxy. These are the realm's curved lines rule, but what about those lines that don't quite fit into the straight or curved category? The broken lines, the zigzags, the dashes and dots. These lines, my friends, are the rebels of the line world. They break up space in unexpected ways, adding texture and intrigue. Used wisely, they can create a sense of energy, tension, or even chaos. Now, lines don't just exist in isolation. They interact, intersect, and intertwine to create shapes and forms. A circle here, a square there, a few triangles, and voila, you have a simplistic city skyline. Add a few more lines and you can transform that skyline into a bustling metropolis, brimming with life and detail. Mastering the use of lines in your art is a journey. It's about learning to see lines not just as strokes on a page, but as powerful tools of expression. It's about understanding the language of lines and using it to tell your own unique story. Mastering lines is the first step towards becoming a skilled artist. So keep practicing, keep exploring, and remember, every great artist started with a simple line. Lines are the skeleton, but shapes and forms are the flesh and blood of your drawing. Shapes and forms are the next essential step in drawing, providing dimension and character to your art. They serve as a catalyst, transforming simple lines into something more tangible and alive. But what exactly distinguishes a shape from a form? Think of a shape as a two-dimensional entity. It's flat, with only length and width. Circles, squares, triangles, you name them. They are the simplest and most basic components of any image. Forms, on the other hand, are three-dimensional. They have depth in addition to length and width. Think spheres, cubes, and pyramids. Now, you might be wondering how you can create three-dimensional forms on a flat piece of paper. That's where the magic of perspective and shading come into play. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about how shapes and forms can be used to construct complex images. Imagine you're drawing a tree. Instead of attempting to sketch every individual leaf and branch, you can simplify the process by breaking it down into basic shapes and forms. The trunk could be a rectangle, the leaves collectively forming a circle or an oval. This approach is not only easier but also provides a solid foundation upon which you can add more details later. The same principle applies to drawing anything else, be it a bicycle, a skyscraper, or a human face. Start with basic shapes and forms and gradually refine them. It's like building a house. You wouldn't start with the wallpaper, would you? You'd begin with the foundation, the structure. That's what shapes and forms are in the world of drawing. Remember, practice makes perfect. The more you draw, the better you'll get at recognizing and using shapes and forms. You'll start seeing the world differently as a complex composition of simple geometric elements. Once you understand how to use shapes and forms, you're ready to add depth to your drawings. So, stay tuned as we'll dive into the realm of shading in our next scene. Shading is the magic wand that transforms flat drawings into lifelike images. This incredible tool of visual expression allows us to add depth and dimension, creating a sense of light and form that brings our art to life. Shading is all about contrast. It's about the interplay of light and dark. Imagine a simple ball. Without shading, it's just a flat circle. But with the right shading, that circle transforms into a sphere. It gains depth, it gains volume, it gains life. In the world of art, shading is our third dimension. Now, there are several techniques that artists use to achieve this effect. Let's delve into some of them. First, we have hatching. This involves drawing closely spaced parallel lines. The closer the lines, the darker the area appears. Cross-hatching is a variation where we draw lines in opposite directions. This gives us a denser, darker shade. Then we have stippling. Instead of lines, we use dots. The closer the dots, the darker the shading. This technique requires patience, but the results can be stunning. Smudging, on the other hand, is all about creating smooth transitions. We use our fingers or a tool to smudge the graphite or charcoal, creating soft gradients of light and dark. Finally, there's scumbling or scribbling. It's as fun as it sounds. Instead of neat lines or dots, we use random circular motions. It's perfect for textures like fur or foliage. Remember, these are just techniques. The magic is in how you use them. It's about observing how light interacts with objects, understanding the play of shadows and highlights. It's about capturing that on paper. And the best part, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's your art, it's your expression. Experiment, explore, make mistakes, learn, and most importantly, have fun. With shading, your drawings can literally come off the page. Imagine that, a world where flat circles become spheres, where two dimensions bloom into three, all thanks to the power of shading. So, pick up your pencil and let's bring your art to life. Let's delve deeper into the world of shading. Now you've been introduced to the concept. Let's explore the various techniques that can add depth and texture to your artwork, making it come alive. Firstly, we have hatching. This technique employs parallel lines to create tonal or shading effects. Depending on how close or far apart these lines are drawn, you can control the lightness or darkness of the area. It's like painting with a pen, where each stroke contributes to the overall appearance of the piece. Cross-hatching, as the name suggests, involves crossing lines over each other. The more lines you cross, the darker the area becomes. It's a fantastic way to create a sense of depth and volume in your art. Next up is stippling. This technique involves creating shades and tones through tiny dots. The closer the dots, the darker the area appears. It requires a lot of patience, but the end results can be incredibly detailed and realistic. Last but not least, we have blending. Using a blending stump or your fingers, you can smudge the graphite on your paper to create smooth transitions between light and dark areas. It's a great technique for creating realistic skin tones or soft shadows. Each of these techniques has its own charm and application. Hatching might be perfect for a rustic wooden texture, while blending could be ideal for a soft, dreamy sky. Stippling could create a fascinating texture for an animal's fur, and cross-hatching may be just what you need for a sturdy stone wall. Remember, the key to mastering these techniques is practice. Don't be afraid to experiment with different textures and patterns. After all, art is a form of self-expression, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. By mastering these shading techniques, you can create any texture you want. And who knows, with a little bit of practice and a lot of imagination, you might just create your next masterpiece. So, pick up that pencil and let's get shading. Drawing is not a talent. It's a skill, and like any skill, it requires practice. The beauty of drawing is that there's always room for growth, always another technique to master, always another perspective to explore. So, how do we harness this growth? Through practice. Now, you might be thinking, what should I draw? The answer is simple. Anything and everything. Remember, you're not just practicing how to draw, but also how to see. Every line, every shape, every shadow has something to teach you. So, draw the world around you. Draw the coffee mug on your table, the tree outside your window, your own hand. Each of these subjects offers a unique challenge and a unique opportunity to learn. It's also crucial to revisit and refine the techniques we've discussed so far. Practice drawing lines of different lengths, widths, and directions. Play around with shapes and forms. See how they can come together to create complex objects. And of course, experiment with shading. Try out different shading techniques. See how they affect the overall mood and depth of your artwork. Another practical exercise is to copy the drawings of artists you admire. This is not about plagiarism, but about learning. By replicating their work, you can gain insights into their techniques and styles. Remember, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. But perhaps the most important thing to remember is this: be patient with yourself. Progress might be slow, and that's okay. Each stroke, each sketch, takes you one step closer to becoming the artist you aspire to be. So keep your pencil sharp and your sketchbook at the ready. Dedicate a few minutes each day to draw, and soon you'll see improvement. You'll notice your lines becoming steadier, your shapes more accurate, your shading more nuanced, and before you know it, you've not just learned to draw, you've learned to see. Remember, the more you draw, the better you get. So grab your sketchbook, pick up your pencil, and let's get drawing. Drawing, like any journey, begins with a single step. We've taken many steps together today, exploring the magic of drawing, the tools we use, and the elements that form the foundation of our art. We've delved into the world of lines, shapes, and forms, and how they serve as the building blocks of our creations. We've journeyed into the realm of shading, understanding its basics, and the techniques that bring our art to life, creating illusions that trick the eye. Remember, practice is the key. It's the secret ingredient that transforms our efforts into masterpieces. Every line we draw, every form we shape, and every shade we create is a step towards becoming better artists. If this video gets 700 likes, I will show myself up and shade with you. Please like, subscribe, and leave your comments below. Let's continue this art journey together.